Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to Evolution of Pro Wrestling. I am your host, Lewis, the encyclopedia of pro wrestling.
And I'm Jay, the whiz kid of pro wrestling.
Thank you for joining us, fans. Tonight is going to be an excellent topic.
Oh yeah.
It's going into this topic is actually going to be going into Extreme Rules horror show.
If you want me to be honest, if you want me to keep it 100, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to it, and we're actually looking forward to adding our special guest. That's
Which
always,
he is already here.
He's already here. He's prompt. He's ready.
He came prepared.
Is Ricans of Wrestling's own, the always controversial, always Mr. Jose G. Welcome, Mr. Jose G. from Ricans of Wrestling. The always controversial one. What's going on, man?
What's going on, broskies? Y'all can hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We sure can.
All right. What's going on? It's Friday night. We're getting ready for wrestling. Extreme Rules. You're interrupting my SmackDown viewership right now, so you better make this worth my while.
Listen, man. Listen, you got a history lesson last night. Don't make me give you another one, okay? No. But today's topic is going to be worth your while, okay? So today, the most extreme and hardcore moments in wrestling, as well as the history of extreme wrestling. Now, when you hear extreme, Jose, what comes to mind?
Bro, ECW. ECW is the first thing that comes to mind, and then the second thing that comes to mind is CZW. I mean, those are I was never like a big avid ECW fan, but when I did watch it and watch those extreme matches, man, that was like, I mean, for the time, I mean, they were just like way ahead of its time. And the main team that I fell in love with back in the ECW days was the Dudley Boys, bro. Because without Dudleys, you can't have any extreme, dude. But let's not take away from like the Sandman. Let's not take away from Sabu and all those other pioneers that really kind of paved the way for hardcore matches.
Right. Well, I kind of agree with you in a sense. You had the Sabus and the Sandmans, but I think to me the originators of hardcore were Bruiser Brody, Abdullah the Butcher. You know what I mean?
True.
Dick Slater. Like all these guys out there, like Terry Funk himself, Mick Foley.
I mean, you can think of that. Like you can think of all the people who started, all the hardcore business. But I think people now, at the end of the day, look for who was the most hardcore person or who was the most hardcore tag team. Like, for example, Sabu, the homicidal, genocidal, death-defying man. He, is absolutely crazy when it comes to stuff matches. The Dudley Boys, Team Extreme, people like that. So I feel like people worry about which person or which team had the best, hardcore moments or had the best hardcore career, of their wrestling lifetime.
Well, you mentioned Sabu. He had a match with Terry Funk in ECW for the ECW title in 1997 in a barbed wire match. What did you think about that match, Jose, when you first saw that match?
Dude, to be honest, I have not seen that match. To be
that's
a good match.
I know. I have not seen that match, but also other huge names and other big matches that come to mind when we're thinking about hardcore. Dude, you can't leave out Terry Funk and you can't leave out Mick Foley. Like those are like the king of hardcore when it comes to that. Now one of the most radical hardcore matches I've ever seen was a death match in Lucha Underground, and it was Shane Strickland going up against Dante Fox, or at the time AR Fox, and Shane Strickland was Killshot in Lucha Underground. And some of those spots, dude, there was like meat hanging off the glass. Ooh. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, It was just out of this world, death match, hardcore, suplexing each other from the balcony through 3 glass tables. It's like it's out of this mind. And I think that was the only match that I was like, all right, I don't think I'm gonna watch like this type of matches ever again. Like after that match, I'm like, damn. And I've seen like the John Moxley stuff. I've seen like the John Moxley stuff where he's like, you know, digging with the hacksaw right into your forehead and just, you know,
man,
you're like, like that
yeah,
old school stuff. And that's just for me, that's just too much. Like I'm not a fan of that. It's just too much.
For me, I feel like there's a boundary for hardcore. Like, I get it, you know, hardcore is, you know, like all about, you know, like being like a psychopath type character, you know, getting your head thrown into a chair or into a glass or something like that.
Well, they don't.
When it comes to like, you know, like glass, like being in someone's eye or something like that, like, you know, like that's a boundary. So like, I feel like hardcore has a boundary to it, but sometimes hardcore goes past the limit. But you know, that's what makes hardcore hardcore.
Well,
that's what makes it interesting.
Exactly.
Well, back then in the Attitude Era, you know, there was a point that I'm not sure if you remember, Jose, that Big Boss Man at the time got smacked in the face with a jar bottle, and he actually went into his face. He was bleeding, like literally in his face. And not sure if the glass went into his eyes, but that's when back then hardcore was hardcore. And he mentioned Terry Funk and Cactus Jack McFoley. I remember that they had a battle in Japan in I believe it was a Texas Death Match, I believe. Oh, yep, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the IWA King of the Death Match happened, and that match was brutal, like holy shit. And people still talk about it to this day. Still talk about it to this day.
That's ridiculous. That's just as much as of a fan and how much I love pro wrestling is just, I don't know how these guys just really put their bodies out there like that and just to entertain us. And they're not getting paid that much money, bro. Like they're like getting paid a few bucks and they're putting their bodies on the line. A very good example, there's a local guy here in Florida. He wrestles at a CCW. I think his last name is Ocean or something like Alex Ocean or something like that. He's all tatted up. Dude, super hardcore, you know, death match type. He just had a death match like this past weekend, and just it was insane. Like the amount of blood that was just covered all over his body. But I don't know if you could, I don't know if you should do death matches like now. Like
well, that wouldn't fly. That wouldn't fly now.
With COVID, like
that wouldn't fly now.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
No. But before we continue, Jose, fans, please feel free to share our content in your groups, your friends, your family, your cousins, whatever. Bring it over here. We got Mr. Jose G from Ricans and Wrestling, which he has his weekly topic episodic episode. If I'm saying that right, I'm sorry.
Weekly talk show, bro.
There you go. His weekly talk show Thursdays at 7. Ricans and Wrestling. So we got a comment that's interesting. Christopher Brown says there's an ass clown, Lewis, who goes by the name of Superhuman on Twitter, who posts videos of himself doing extreme things. His most recent video,
extreme,
him trying to do a coffin drop in a pile of fluorescent lights taped to a hollow core door on the top of a couple of chairs in a backyard.
Okay, I have.
Wait. Let Jose process this for a second.
I have a really.
Okay. Wait. Let him process this first.
That's why. Why, for the views, for the internet views. This is why our country is going the way it is because of stupid fucking people on Twitter putting some dumbass shit that you're not trained to do and causing some serious bodily harm. That is terrible. Listen, Superhuman on Twitter. Stop, dude. Stop. You're gonna kill yourself, bro. Like that's not healthy. It's not.
It's not healthy.
Listen, I seen this man wrestle. Just the silence says it all.
Yeah.
Like it was a shit show. I'm sorry, not to downgrade anybody.
Is this the same guy that's done some stuff on ARW's shows?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, I've seen that guy. Like I've seen him. I know who you're talking about, and it's like, wow, I can't believe. I can't believe he would put himself like that. And I'm looking at the comments and I see that Ben Clef is like, wow, I can't believe the hatred for Superhuman. I don't hate the dude. I just hate that he's doing those things to himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
no
hate
hatred.
Ain't
no hatred. But when you're gonna go into professional wrestling, you need to make sure you're doing what needs to be done, because you're getting inside the ring with guys that have been in this business for years, and then one bad move that you do because you're trying to be a superhuman, you can end somebody else's career.
Exactly.
But anyway, let's get back to our topic. There's a match that comes to mind that when you mentioned Gruesome, I remember in 1994, Cactus Jack fought Big Van Vader. Vader threw Cactus Jack over the ropes, but he got caught in the ropes. So it was caught too much. When he tried to get himself off, his ear ripped off.
Ooh.
That's why he had to stay like that, because it ripped off in a match against Vader.
Ooh. Ooh,
so you terrible. Tell me if that was not a hardcore moment.
That's definitely a hardcore moment. I got one for you too, a pretty hardcore moment too. Stan Hansen in Japan, bro. Like during the '80s, he had this crazy match where his eye popped out of his socket and he squished it right back in and kept on going.
That was Vader. That was him and Vader, right?
Yeah, him and Vader. You're right.
Yep, that was. I remember that match. Yep,
him and Vader in Japan. That was one of the most insane things I have ever seen.
No,
in a professional wrestling match.
You know what match stands out for me that I still can watch to this day? Rey Mysterio and Psychosis in the Mexican Death Match.
I haven't seen that. I gotta check that out.
Excellent match, man. Excellent.
You know. Speaking on the topic of extreme, and this is probably not considered extreme, but have you guys ever checked out Josh Arnett's Bloodsport from GCW?
No, I don't. I believe not.
All right, so just like it sounds, okay, so you're old enough, Louis, that you remember Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport, right? You know, the Kumite. Louis, Jaden, you got to check this movie out. If you've never seen it, you should watch it.
What is it? I've seen Bloodsport. I know Bloodsport.
Okay. You're an old soul. I know you're an old soul, so that's cool. That's why we get along. But the entire a night is set up kind of like a kumite ring, so that it's a wrestling ring without ropes. And they got it set up like that, and it's just a free for all grappling wrestling match. It's pretty dope, dude. Like I mean, there's no chair shots and nobody going through glass or fluorescent lights, but for the serious hardcore wrestling fan, that's a badass show right there.
Yeah. Well, what's the name of it again?
Bloodsport.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, Josh Arnett's Bloodsport is pretty badass.
I'll definitely look that up after the show. So, let me ask you a question, Jose. Does the words mass transit ring a bell?
Bro, you know you're the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling. You know I can't keep up with you. You know that I produce 3 shows a week, right? Like, I'm a busy guy. Like, I have to watch wrestling to kind of keep up what's going on. But dude, like I don't have like this Rolodex in the back of my head to be like, nope. That's exactly where it is.
Okay.
No.
I'm with him.
Okay.
The whole day, and I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so there was an incident in a house show. There was a young gentleman by the name of Mass Transit that teamed up with Devon Dudley against the Gangsters, which New Jack and Mustafa from ECW. This guy, Mass Transit, supposedly he was over 30. The kid was 17 years old. New Jack took a razor and just cut his head wide open on the kid. The kid was pretty much almost bleeding to death in the ring. That they almost filed charges against this man. Luckily, he got away with it because the guy knew what he was getting into. He signed a waiver. Still, he should not have been in the ring.
What year was this?
This was in 1994, I believe. I'm not too sure. It was in the 90s. I know that for sure. It was.
I thought.
See, even Ben Cliff right there. I comment right there. Ben Cliff said the mass transit situation was very controversial. I wish I could ring in so much. It was so controversial that bad because of New Jack. Because
Damn.
he was the definition of hardcore.
I'm reading Brian Montalvo's
Yeah.
notification here. He's saying that it was a scalpel. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Yep. But one thing I did want to jump on, you know, kind of like that we're talking on the same topic. Puerto Rico has been known for having some incredible hardcore matches, and back in the day, nobody did it better than Abdullah the Butcher and Carlitos Colon, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at Carlitos Colon's forehead, bro, from here, I mean, I don't have a forehead because I'm bald, but he has puncture wounds and scars all over here, bro. It's like, it looks like cube steak meat. You know what that meat that you buy at the store?
Mm-hmm.
It's all punctured. It looks like that, bro. It looks like cube steak meat on his forehead. And Abdullah the Butcher looked exactly the same like that. Like, it was really nasty on how bad they were really cutting each other.
Like when you say those names, like back then, even with WWE, that WWC was the promotion to go to. Like, you had all these stars: Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Carlito Colon, Abdullah the Butcher.
Well, back then, WWC was part of Capital Sports, which was the big Titan Sport under the Titan Sports umbrella of the WWF back in the day. That's I think Senior was still kind of hanging around back then, and that's why they had that collaboration with them. But yeah, I think after Bruiser Brody, I think that's when a lot of the stuff stopped going to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Well, it changed the face of wrestling when that issue happened with Bruiser Brody, which is another one that has been in many battles inside and outside the ring with Abdullah the Butcher. Like, it was a bloodbath every single time. And the matches, 80% of the matches were outside the ring, all of them outside the ring. But one that still comes to mind was Mankind and The Rock at the Royal Rumble. In an I Quit match.
Yes.
Most brutal head chair shots I've ever seen anybody take in the business.
It's iconic. Who do you think delivered the worst chair shot? Was it The Rock to Mankind or Triple H to Mankind? Because those
Triple H to Mankind, they had a pretty good hell of a sell.
I gotta say Triple H.
Triple H.
Yeah, dude. Like, Triple H just tore.
Yeah,
I feel like when it comes to
them up in the Royal Rumble 2000.
I feel like when it comes to weapons, Triple H is the guy because, you know, he's always carrying around a sledgehammer and stuff like that. And the sledgehammer is deadly, but, you know, like The Rock is more like, you know, a man who uses his fists and stuff like that. And if he uses a weapon, most likely it'll be something like a garbage can or it'll be like a snack or something like that. You know, throw it at him. But Triple H, like, when he grabs a weapon, that's all about business. So yeah. I feel like Triple H is the guy for chair shots.
All right, wait, we got a comment here that this is one I don't even know how I forgot this one. Brian Montalvo says, "How about that chair shot to Brock Lesnar from Jeff Hardy? Remember when Brock Lesnar now that he just like twice dead in the and you could hear it like with no remorse. He slapped the shit out of him right dead in the head. So, damn, like I don't like now. None of these hardcore moments will get by. No chair. Well, AEW, some of them does some chair shots, you know, here and there, but
okay. Now, I feel like this hardcore moment I'm about to say is probably my favorite hardcore moment. But I forgot who. Oh yes, okay. My favorite hardcore moment was when Edge speared Mick Foley into a fire table when the table was on fire. That was probably the most insane thing I seen in my lifetime. Only because the table was lit on fire, and I never thought a person would go. 2 people would get drove through a table that's lit on fire, and then Edge had the power to get up and pin him, and he had the power to stand up. I mean, he was shaking because he went through fire. But those guys had they had a brutal match. That was probably one of the best hardcore matches, was when the Attitude Era wasn't really talked about anymore. I feel like that match places probably top 1 in my favorite matches of all time. Not just because of the fact that he got speared through a burning table. The fact he had guts to do that, and they put on an absolutely great match. It was a bloody match. Like, there was blood on both of them. It was an absolutely insane match. It was good.
Well, I got something that might be improved. Elimination Chamber.
Which one?
Anyone? When, matter of fact, when Elimination Chamber first came out, what was your thought, Jose?
I thought that was awesome, and especially watching the first Elimination Chamber. Ah, man, that was good because there was nothing like it at the time. And when Goldberg came out and he just kicked in those plastic doors and just started just wrecking shop left and right, it was something out of this world. The Elimination Chamber is right up there, dude. Right up there with the hardcore history. It's kind of almost embedded in the hardcore history.
No, that's definitely hardcore. Like they pretty much took a mixture of a steel cage and War Games from WCW, which was also a interesting match
like we
back then.
Like we said a few matches ago, I feel like that was to replace War Games, since War Games probably wouldn't have worked out at this time. That was probably, to make things interesting. So they're like, okay, we can't put War Games in because probably nobody's gonna either enjoy that or it's not gonna work out like how it used to. So let's put in the Elimination Chamber. There's 6 pods and anything can happen in that match. So I feel like I feel like it was better for them to put the Elimination Chamber rather than the War Games because the Elimination Chamber worked out great.
No, it definitely worked out great. Like Jose mentioned, the first ever match when Shawn Michaels won, it was a hell of Elimination Chamber. Now, I'm not sure if Jose knows this match, but Starcade, 1983, Roddy Piper and Greg the Hammer Valentine in a dog collar match.
And a dog collar. No, I've heard of this match. I've never seen this match because I was always a WWF guy back then. I never really watched WCW, but I have heard of this match, and I've never seen it. So I can only imagine 2 grown-ass men with dog collars on.
Bro, this match pretty much set the tone of heated rivalries and like extreme matches. Like I always put this match on my poll when it comes to our watch party because it's a good match. You know what I mean? But it's tough to call, man. Like the way you don't see no more of that hardcore stuff anymore today, man. Like I wish we could, and it's like, what do you see now? You don't see Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off a ladder at WrestleMania 17.
Hold on. Before you finish that sentence, let's get into that. We can't just go past how Edge was on a 20-foot ladder and he speared a man in midair. Like, I'm surprised no bones were broken. I'm surprised no one almost died from that because that was really high. And I bet, like, if one of us were to be there, like, whoa, like, how high is this? How high is he actually in the air right now? And he was pretty high in the air because he got on like one of the tallest ladders in WWE history and speared Jeff Hardy and still managed to wrestle after that. That takes a lot of guts to do that. And I feel like Edge is an extreme soldier for that, and Jeff Hardy is an extreme soldier for that. Because Jeff Hardy was the one that landed flat on his back and was the one that got the spear delivered. So that match overall was insane. The TLC match was absolutely amazing. So just that moment alone was great. I loved it. It was
well, do you think that would ever be duplicated, Jose, now in professional wrestling?
Nah. If anyone's probably going to duplicate it, we'll probably see like AEW probably try to knock something off of it. But to that like type of caliber, because again, like these guys did something that it's something that's never been done before. So back then, almost 20 years ago, or probably just a little over 20 years ago, no other promotion had what WWE was doing. So to kind of replicate that to the same quality, it's not going to happen. Now, let's see what happens this Sunday, because this Sunday is going to be a match bunch of matches full of different stipulations that we've never seen before.
Yes. Right. And speaking of that, Jaden, it brings us to...
did we segue just naturally into that?
Oh, I think you just brought it right up. I think you just zoomed right into Extreme Rules, the horror show.
Oh, no. It's the horror show at Extreme Rules.
At Extreme Rules. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's the current promotion that they're telling us, because it was Extreme Rules Horror Show until like 2 weeks ago.
Jeez. Well, this pay-per-view was pretty interesting, Jaden.
I seen a little bit of Jose's show. I tuned in a little bit.
Several matches that are kind of strange. But I made some predictions yesterday. I'm going to stick by them. So we got Apollo Crews against MVP for the new United States title. I have my pick. He has his pick, but we'll let you get your pick in first.
I gotta go with MVP.
Oh,
I gotta go with MVP. I gotta go with MVP because he made a miraculous return from being absolutely gone from the WWE for a long time. So I feel like if he was to win the United States title, that would be a perfect way to get himself back up there. So that everybody will get to know who MVP is again, because these like 2015 kids and up, they don't know nothing about MVP. So like
2015. So like You're talking like you're 23 years old.
Like people from like 2014 and higher know nothing about MVP, or they know nothing about wrestlers that were like 2012 and down. They will never know who those people are because they're not.
Well, we got a few.
So I feel like MVP, that'll be a way to get itself back up there, and that'll be a perfect way for MVP, to also make a name for herself and be like, yeah, I'm MVP, I'm back.
Well, we got some viewers going with Brian Montalvo's going with MVP, and Ben Cliff is going with Apollo, like he mentioned yesterday in Ricans of Wrestling. Jose, let Jaden know who's your pick, sir, and the fans.
Bro, Montavious Porter, bro.
Yes.
The leader of the Hurt Business. It's gonna be the new faction, bro. That faction is gonna be the new Nation of Domination right there, bro. That's right there. That's the only reason you have to have MVP as your United States champ, because you're gonna build everything else around him.
But what he's talking about, Jose, what he's talking about, Jaden, is that there's MVP and Bobby Lashley. MVP's managing Bobby Lashley. You have Cedric Alexander and Ricochet together as a tag team. He's trying to recruit that tag team to join them. So what better way of what they mentioned yesterday for MVP to win, these two to get involved and then join.
Yeah,
turn heel. Be a good scenario.
Perfect, right
but
there.
I think I would like Apollo Crews to win an MVP join him. Get that heel character out of Apollo.
I mean, but like Apollo's never really been, like one of those type of people you'll see as a heel character. Like he's always seemed like a baby face, and like since MVP's come back, he hasn't won a title, and I feel like MVP's probably been working hard and trying to get himself. But look at Apollo Crews. He's really won like only about like a cruiser. Like don't knock what's Apollo Crews off? Don't knock Apollo Crews off because he's a good wrestler. But like
no, yeah, absolutely no. I think Apollo is one of the most talented guys out there.
Yeah.
And I actually mentioned this years ago when he first made his debut back then, when it was called the main roster, because it's not called the main roster anymore. I said that they brought him up way too early. Like he hadn't even won his first. He didn't win any NXT championships back when he was in NXT. He didn't really have a good role or good push. Or they really didn't build anything around him. They were just like, here, do something with him. I don't know what else to do with him. And it was very unfortunate because Apollo's that dude. Apollo knows how to go. And I feel like they brought him up too early. And now is like where he's kind of shining. But even then, like he hasn't been on TV for the past 3 weeks,
Right.
And it's frustrating because, you just put the title on the guy, a few months ago. And you're not going to have him in TV to build up for your next pay-per-view, and you're letting your heel do all the work to build up this match. I mean, what kind of credibility are you going to have as champion if you're not there to promote your own match at the pay-per-view?
Right.
Pretty much. So I'm hoping I'm hoping it could change. You know, if not, I would rather see that faction go ahead and do what they need to do. So,
BT Dubs, quick note on update on the card. They just added a SmackDown Tag Team titles on Sunday, so we did not talk about that on last night's show.
Okay.
So there is a stipulation because there was a match tonight between Cesaro and Big E. The winner of that match got to pick the stipulation, either a tables match or a cage match, and I believe Cesaro did pick a tables match.
Wow.
Interesting.
So let's still talk about this tag team match. What do you think about Cesaro and Shinsuke, Jose?
Bro, the Artist Collective? Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge Nakamura fan, and I'm an even bigger Cesaro fan. Cesaro works great in tag teams, bro. He is probably, if you ask any superstar in the WWE locker room, bro, who would they prefer to tag with or work with? 9 out of 10, they're going to say Cesaro because he's that guy. He's that guy that's been in the ring for such a long time, and he will make you look like $1 million or put that beating down on you. And we've seen it when he was teamed up with Sheamus with the Bar. We saw it when he was teamed up with Tyson Kidd. He was WWE Tag Team Champions back then. And now it's his time with Nakamura. He's probably one of the most decorated tag team champions in WWE in the last 10 years. He doesn't get the credit where he deserves it. So I am picking Cesaro and Nakamura to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
I agree.
Well, I agree. I actually got to agree with that. They're killing the character, unfortunately, but damn, if you're gonna put two guys to team up with each other, why not these two? Shinsuke is also an excellent athlete from Japan. Cesaro, I don't understand why they haven't given him a singles run yet. And Brian just mentioned it. He would be a great Intercontinental champion. Even at that, he could probably be a good WWE champion. But they're not going to push him. But
I also feel like not only it's a good tag team because it's a creative tag team because if you think about it, Cesaro, he can jump around in the ring. He can get himself on his feet, and he looks like a tall guy. And he's also really strong. And Shinsuke Nakamura is a fast guy, and he's like a lightweight guy. So like, imagine putting a lightweight and a tall guy together, and like they have a little bit of a similar wrestling style. So I feel like they'll be able to understand each other more than probably the older tag team that Cesaro had. So I want to see how this tag team is going to ascend as time goes on because I would love to see this tag team stay together for a long time. They look like
So next match, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in an eye for an eye match. I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to grab this around my head since yesterday when we talked about this, Jose.
What is an eye for an eye?
It's pretty much you got to take the guy's eye out.
Oh Lord.
Bless you.
Oh. Sorry.
That's what the match is about. But they're not going to take his eye out. But how does this even work, Jose? Like honestly, I'm still trying to think about this what we talked about yesterday.
Wow.
Like how are they even gonna do that?
It's Mortal Kombat, bro. It's gonna be like Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
Yeah.
Here's my eye. It's gonna be some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect out of this.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know if this is gonna be a cinematic match. I don't know if this is gonna be like a legit match in the ring. Are we gonna see blood? Like, are we gonna see a fake eyeball on a fork? I mean, what? Are we gonna see the optic nerve just kind of hanging around and jiggling? I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna see. I don't know what to expect. All I can tell you is that Seth Rollins is probably gonna win this. I absolutely love what he's been doing, and it'll contradict everything that he's been preaching these last 6 months in the greater of good of WWE and Monday Night Raw for him to lose this match. So let's see. If not, we're gonna have Pirate Seth Rollins.
Well, Christopher Brown just mentioned that what he read about the match, that they're going to do a user CGI to simulate them removing the eye. I don't know what the hell that is, but okay.
Sometimes I don't like to read what they're gonna do, so I can be genuinely surprised during the show. You know, and it works better that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know, CG. I mean, they have been using a lot of CG and AR graphics, especially during SmackDown. So I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect out of this. Well, but it should be fun.
There's only one way to find out. We gotta watch the show.
Who's your pick?
I'm going with Seth Rollins.
I gotta agree.
I'm going with Seth Rollins.
I'm not going with Seth Rollins. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna go with Seth Rollins just because he's my favorite wrestler. But I like the fact that, you know, I feel like heel Seth Rollins is better than babyface Seth Rollins, because it brings out who Seth Rollins really are. Like Joker said, you'll never know who you are till you look in the mirror, something like that. It shows people who you really are. So Seth Rollins is showing everybody who he really is. He's this heel character. You know, he doesn't give a crap about anything. So yeah, I feel like Seth Rollins is absolutely gonna win this match just because of his heel character and the things he's been doing.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little upset with other people that are wrestling fans, especially like, oh, I don't like Seth Rollins anymore. He's the Monday Night Messiah, and I'm like, but you were the guys that were asking for him to be a heel, and now that he's a heel, you're upset. Like, I don't understand why you even want something, because once you get it, you don't like it.
It was probably because the heel character that they wanted, the heel character that they wanted, they didn't get. So they probably wanted a different heel character, Seth Rollins, and they didn't get it.
And WWE is notorious for doing that. No, WWE will give you what you want, but not the way you want it.
Exactly.
They'll do that a lot.
Exactly.
All right, so our next match. Oh Lord, here we go. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Just make sure you're ready, okay?
Oh, who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
First off, let's go to the Women's SmackDown Championship match. The defending Women's Champion, Bayley.
No. You got to say it right. You have to say it right. The role model. The leader. Your SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley.
Your SmackDown Women's Champion, not mine, but yours.
No. Yours.
Against Nikki Cross. We know his pick. I got my pick. Let's start with you in this one.
I don't know, Bayley.
Why?
Because I feel like they completely screwed over Nikki Cross's character. So I feel like Nikki Cross isn't like, you know, the same person she used to be. So she's like, she talks now. Like, since when Nikki Cross ever talked in her lifetime? Like, the Nikki Cross I used to see was when, you know, she was insane.
Okay,
she would
why would Bayley win?
Because, like he said, Bayley, you know, she got the attitude. Like, Bayley's heel character, you know, she comes out walking into the ring, you know, nice and slow with her head down. Once she gets into the ring, it's all business. Bayley is all about the action when she's in the ring.
Facts, bro. He is spitting straight facts. Jaden is on point. Bayley is the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history.
Yes.
She is the first.
We got a few fans saying Brian and Ben are saying Bayley's gonna win. I'm going for Bayley too, but I'm going for Bayley because I want to see the epic match that we're gonna get into next one. That's gonna follow up with it, which is Sasha Banks going up against.
Louis, you gotta do this correctly, bro. Next time I'm gonna have to start charging you, bro, because you know when you're introducing someone like the leader, the blueprint, the standard, the greatest wrestler in WWE, Sasha Banks. That's how you introduce it.
Yeah, exactly.
Against the reigning, defending Raw Women's Champion.
The role model, don't forget.
No, this is Asuka.
Asuka. So we're not talking about Becky Lynch anymore.
No.
So you would like to see... No, not Becky Lynch. Sorry, Bailey. We're not talking about Bailey.
No, it's gonna. I would like to see.
So you
Bailey
would like to see
against
Asuka
Sasha
and
Banks.
Sasha Banks.
Bailey and Sasha Banks, SummerSlam, title for title.
He's taking my idea. I said that last night.
Or if not, I said this yesterday. If not the titles, because I try to compromise with him and Rico. One, they can keep the titles. They can hold the titles, all 4 titles, and then lose it before another pay-per-view and fight in SummerSlam without the titles.
I would like to see them fight title for title. I feel like that'll make things more interesting.
Okay, Jose.
Winner take all. Winner take all, baby. Winner take all.
What's your pick in this match, sir?
Dude, I mean, I said it last night on my show. Sasha Banks will become your new Raw Women's Champion. And then we will get, at some point, some type of turn, either Bailey on Sasha or Sasha on Bailey. Or it may not even happen like that. Maybe they're forced to have this one-on-one match. And we may get this match, but it may not be the build-up that we want. But regardless, we still might get it. But I'm thinking we're going to get title versus title. Sasha's Raw Women's Champion. Bailey's SmackDown Women's Champion. And who takes it? I don't know. I don't know. It's too far ahead to think about that.
Well, we got a fan, Brian, says Sasha is trash. She doesn't touch Natalya.
Sasha is trash. She doesn't touch Natalya. Well, listen. No. Natalya is great. Natalya is one of the best in-ring performers. And Natalya is like Cesaro. Anybody that wants to that can work well and does work well, that's Natalya. But Natalya is no blueprint. Natalya is not the boss. Natalya is not the leader. Okay?
Jesus.
And Natalya is certainly not taking over the whole damn company.
I mean, but she is a heart, though. You gotta respect that. Natalya is a heart.
Oh,
so,
I completely respect that, but where is she?
Well, hey man, it is what it is. So, but moving on. Next, our WWE Championship match: Dolph Ziggler, the show off, against the reigning champion Drew McIntyre. Now there's a stipulation to this, but we don't know. We spoke about this yesterday. We don't know what stipulation it's going to be that Dolph Ziggler is going to choose. It can be anything. It could be no Claymore use in the match. That you do it, you get disqualified. It could be anything. You know what I mean? So, what are your thoughts, Jose? You mentioned that yesterday.
I'm still thinking to today. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Like as far as the stipulation, like Rico said, what makes the most sense is a no Claymore match. That probably, that way you take away his finisher. But as far as that, I don't know what else you can do. Are you going to do? We just had a strap match in NXT. You're not going to do another strap match. I mean, that's been done. So Dolph Ziggler said it's going to be something that's never been done. So we're just going to have to wait until Sunday to see what happens.
Yep. But what's your pick?
Your pick is Drew McIntyre. Without the Claymore or not, Drew McIntyre is still a powerful guy in the ring, and Drew McIntyre just got the title not so long ago, and I feel like he's doing a great job being a title holder because, he's actually working hard to keep that title. So I feel like Claymore or not, Drew McIntyre is still
you do know that he's going to lose that title eventually.
Eventually, which I would like to see, but eventually, yes, you're right. He is going to lose that title. But as of right now, he is doing a good job holding the title.
Okay, so before we get into Jose's pick, just want to read something back to what you said, Jose. Brian says, laughing my ass off, at the end of the day, Sasha's performance isn't the greatest, and if the booking was smart, they would put Natalya to be on the top as the longest reigning SmackDown champion.
Well, to respond to that, it's WWE, bro. We're not going to agree with the booking all the time. But there is one thing that Sasha Banks, that Natalya doesn't have, and that's star power. I am dead serious. I'm not even joking. I'm being 100% serious. She has star power. Natalia's great. Natalia, and Brian, I'm not knocking off on Natalia. And in some ways, I agree with you. But just like Becky can sell the seats, Sasha can sell the seats. Sasha can fill those seats. Sasha can be that person for the ratings. I don't know. Sasha's the greatest. That's all.
All right, and now moving on to the final match, Jay. A first time ever swamp match. Bray Wyatt.
Okay, hold on. Before you finish, are we talking about Eater of Worlds, the Fiend, or the Firefly Funhouse?
The Eater of Worlds. Bray Wyatt against the defending champion, Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion.
I have three parts to this. I feel like Bray Wyatt is gonna take this match because I feel like the Eater of Worlds is probably the best Bray Wyatt. Because look, I get it, the Fiend is a good Bray Wyatt, but if you really want me to think about it, if you really want to compare the Eater of Worlds, the Fiend was really good for taking shots to the face, and getting beat up and getting up back up. Other than that, he would just put his fingers in his mouth. Can I finish? Let me finish speaking. I gotta go with Bray Wyatt.
Okay, Bray Wyatt.
But I wasn't finished.
Okay.
Just leave it to announce that. I'm finished now.
So, okay. So, Braun is going to win this match.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you why. And I know Jose's going to agree with me on this. You have 3 Bray Wyatts.
Exactly.
First, he beat the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. Now he's going back to his past, and it's going to beat Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds, until he finally meets the Fiend that is unstoppable, and the Fiend is going to take the title at SummerSlam.
So just to break it down in terms that we can really understand, Braun Strowman is Broly, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
and Bray Wyatt's Goku, right? And Bray Wyatt at base form couldn't beat Broly, so guess what? He had to power up. So he's Eater of Worlds. But guess what? Eater of Worlds isn't enough. So he needs to power up again to his final form, the Fiend, which is his Ultra Instinct, and then he will beat Braun Strowman at SummerSlam.
Exactly.
Well, there you had it, fans. The first time ever in Evolution of Pro Wrestling exclusive, Dragon Ball Z and wrestling combined in one topic. That was amazing.
Bro, they cross each other more than you think. Did you know that in wrestling? Back in what was it, WrestleMania 30 or 31, where the New Day came dressed out as fucking Dragon Ball Z?
The Ginyu Force.
No, they had
the Ginyu Force.
Stuff. Yeah,
bud. Yeah, man. And Rhea Ripley, her uniform for WrestleMania was based off of Vegeta.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we got that out the way. Before we go, we're gonna ask everyone, including us, what was your most extreme and most hardcore moment ever in professional wrestling since you've been watching wrestling?
I said mine.
Jose, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, I said it earlier in the show, and in case you guys missed it, if you're just joining, Lucha Underground Season 3 Death Match. I think it was like 3 Stages of Hell. That's what it's called. And it's between AR Fox and Killshot, known as Isaiah Swerve Thomas here in the WWE and NXT. If you've never watched that match, check it out. Lucha Underground. I believe it's available on Netflix. One of the craziest matches you'll ever see.
Okay, and Jaden, just in case they
just in case you guys didn't hear me, was when Edge speared Mick Foley into a burning table.
Okay. Mine, I have to say, Mick Foley and Undertaker, when Undertaker threw him off the Hell in a Cell twice.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much chokeslammed him and tombstoned him on a bunch of tacks.
Yeah.
So that match to me
that's up there. That's definitely like in the top 3. It has to be in the top 3.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he get thrown through the cell too?
Yes, and but that was unstaged.
How is he walking? How is he alive?
Yeah, seriously.
See, even Brian said it. Taker and Foley. That was the match, and because it wasn't supposed to happen. And I don't know if you noticed in that match, his tooth is out here from his face.
Yep.
So I'm like, damn.
And I find it crazy how he still managed to get off of the stretcher. He got off the stretcher.
I think I would have been crippled the first shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was interviewed about that match, and the only thing that he said, yeah, but think about the pop.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Pretty much. But we got Brian that said Taken Foley. We got Ben Cliff that says the Tapia Death match between Axel Rotten and Ian Rotten from ECW. That match was crazy. So we can go on for hours about this extreme stuff, but it's a lot of crazy stuff.
It is a lot.
I'm definitely looking forward to Extreme Rules.
Wait,
hold on. I gotta say it right before Jose. See, look at his eyes. Look at that. He was ready. I gotta say it right. I gotta say the horror show Extreme.
There you go.
So, as always, Jose, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. The always controversial and unpredictable Mr. Jose G of Ricans of Wrestling. Catch him every Thursday night with excuse me, with Rico. I'm not even gonna say the rest because that's
El Glorioso.
There you go. And his
You're Puerto Rican, you can't even roll your R's, bro? What kind of
El Glorioso.
See, your son can say it better than you.
El Glorioso.
You can't roll your R's, Dad? Come on.
Come on.
Tune into these guys every Thursday night at 7 p.m. They have the greatest topics, news in professional wrestling of all the entire week. SmackDown, Raw, AEW, NXT, and they give you the latest news with all over the professional wrestling. Jose, thank you again for being on the show, sir. We will see you. I'll be on the show the next 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll bring you back on pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. You guys have a good night, and we'll catch you on the next time.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Bye.
And there you had it, fans. The most extreme and hardcore moments in wrestling, as well as the history of professional wrestling of extreme moments in hardcore, and the predictions to the horror show Extreme.
Now that you told me about that Bray Wyatt match, I'm eager to watch that.
I'm definitely.
I feel like we're gonna see all 3 faces of Bray Wyatt. We're not just gonna see one.
Brian says Tales from the Dead Man after the pay-per-view this Sunday. Wow, that's gonna be interesting to watch, Brian. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. So, and before we go, let's just read a few comments from our fans. Jessica Hoffman, thank you for always joining us. We have, she said, Taker tossing Mick Foley off the Hell in a Cell was her extreme moment that she's ever seen. And she's definitely looking at those Tales of Dead Man after Extreme Rules. So thank you, fans, for joining us. As always, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and now TikTok. And please, if you have any concerns, questions, or comments, join us. Email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com or send us a direct message if you would like to come on the show, if you want to be a part of a topic. Please feel free to let us know. As we mentioned before, we are going to start soon. In the next couple of weeks, we are coordinating the Thursday night throwback of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. So we're still in the works with that. But thank you, fans, for watching. And we're going to keep you a little bit in suspense from our next week's topic. Or do you have one in mind, Jay?
Let's keep them in suspense.
Okay.
Since it's, Extreme Rules, everybody will be excited for that. So let's keep them in suspense.
Okay.
Let's keep them in suspense.
So, from myself, Lewis, the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling, and from
Jay, the Whiz Kid of Pro Wrestling.
Thank you for joining us, fans. Have a good night.